Alright, finally starting the stream. I'm hoping it all goes good so far. Going to start with just a basic character creation DnD Online. For something basic, I usually just go with either fighter, barbarian, paladin, something like that. Usually paladin's pretty decent, goes along with some heals. I'll probably be running solo for the most time, so generally I can go through and heal myself, use what companions I can, and hope for the best. Now, I know I'm not the greatest at this, and I will very commonly probably trip over my words, like I just did. But I believe with a little bit of time and effort, I think I can do this. Maybe. Hoping for the best, at least. Now, for character creation, it's pretty simple. If you've played any 3.5 Pathfinder type games, you get your ranks, you get your skill points. Everything is based on abilities, and of course you've got your key ability tags here, whereas your ability mod from your base stats are here. Now, things can get a little bit confusing if you're used to basic games. I will do my best to fight, win, and punch. I don't know about loot. Being level 1, that is. Let's see, let's go there. Now, yet again, 3.5 had quite a lot more feats than 5th edition does. Proficiencies, range, skills, everything like that. But you still have things like class feats, so things like Follower of the Sovereign Host. So, say if you're using long swords, it's going to be a lot better to use something like this. Whereas, say, Orion, if you use quarterstaves, it's a little bit better. It just adds an extra +1 to hit. Of course, there are bonuses and buffs later on, but I think for this character, I may try. Let's try Onatar. So you get +1s with Warhammer, so this can be really good about anything like skeletons. So you're not going to want to use a long sword, something that cuts flesh, against a skeleton. You want something that's going to break. You want something that's going to crush rather than stab or slice. Now, in doing this for having the proficiency in favored weapons and warhammers, more than likely you're going to want to have something that you can tie along with that. That's where combat styles come along. Usually you have either the choice of just wielding your weapon, or you can wield your weapon and a shield. Or if you really want to go along it, you can go with two-handed. But for this, for being a paladin, being a solo player, at least for right now, I believe I'm going to go with Shield Mastery. That way I can get a little bit extra armor based on that and survive a little bit longer. Now, going along with this, maybe a little bit better to boost my attack with Power Attack. Now, you sacrifice your attack bonus, but you do extra damage. So, it does help. Later on, of course, there's going to be Shield Bash, Combat Expertise, Cleave even, be able to hit more than one enemy in front of you, and etc. But for now, that's what we'll go with. So, this will be the finalized summary of your character sheet. So you've got everything listed alphabetically. You have everything that your character will get. including the heavy armor proficiency that paladins normally do get. I believe that is best right there. Now, of course, the graphics aren't as good as most of the AAA games nowadays, the things that look realistic. However, for the time, this game was actually very, very good. So you still have your normal hairstyles. Of course, you have your coloring, stuff like that. Things that you can change and modify. But there's simplistic things that you can do, just toggling. There's no customize where the hue of this eye is, multiple colors. There's nothing like that, of course. But you'll see why in game that it's simple is a whole lot better. Just finalize this. And to go along with this, I believe, let me read chat a little bit. Anything for combat expertise, which I can actually go back and show you. Yeah, all that it requires for combat expertise, you just need an intelligence of 13, which you get skill ranks, and the more intelligence you have, the modifier boosts how many you get. So it's usually a better idea to have at least a 13, 14 intelligence. At least in my honest opinion. You can go and you can have that as your dump stat if you really wanted. That I just don't like personally. Now, this is where a lot of things that it's a little bit different than what some games do. They just have you make your name. This will have a surname. Your normal name, your first name, it can be basically, it has to be unique to every other character in the game. So if you have someone named Jack or someone named Chris or Ashley or anything like that, you can't have another person of that name. However, surname can be whatever you want. It has no ties whatsoever. So you could have ABC123, you could have Gearbox, you could have whatever you really want. But what we're going to focus on right now is just name. So basic thing would just be naming the character. So Ritalia. This is what I've been using recently with a few characters. It's something that I've gotten used to playing with and getting in my mind. But surname for this, I believe we'll just go with, let's go with Meadowwell or Green Bottle. Something strange, and it goes a little bit along the lines of a D&D type last name for more fantasy. Of course, you'll start out in no clothes, or at least tattered clothing, but we'll go in.
You find yourself waking on a shore of flotsam. Memories of a large white dragon striking your ship come flooding back.
Now I will customize my UI settings that I'm used to.
You ain't undead, are you?
Don't have to do this, just something that I'm a little bit more comfortable with.
Can you move?
Easy
You're
enough.
awake.
Most
you ain't
games you
undead,
have, of
are
course, your
you?
cursor, turn left, turn right, do whatever, jump. I like to have targeting, so it's a little bit more like a first-person shooter type
Can you
character,
move?
but turns out to be a little bit easier for me in the long run.
Can you talk? Speak to me.
Jeets goes along to explain
If
that
what the halfling said was
your
true,
ship over
no
here
one
was
but
attacked
you made it to
by
the
that
island
dragon,
alive. It may be worth following this rogue. For
so
now.
you'll be able to see this dragon in quite a few scenes later on as you're on this island.
Follow me. Here
You
we
can
are.
punch crates,
So, you want a weapon or
destroy
not?
these, pick up potions and what have you. But right now, as long as you can situate yourself
Go
and
ahead. Give it a few swings.
you can get a little bit more comfortable with this type of thing.
As you take hold of the weapon, feeling its balance, you can't help but notice this Jeets has more he wants to
Continue
say.
on.
Tell her to keep her
Salimus
knickers
is
on.
in the grotto. I shall show you the way.
Now, you can, by like how I usually do, and break through every single one of these. You can get, of course, gold, copper, silver,
Go ahead and
potions.
look around. I'm here.
I
when
don't
you're ready
believe at
to
this
go to
point you can actually
Salimus.
pick up weapons, but
Here
you don't
we
really
are.
need it right now.
Go inside and speak with Salimus. I'll wait here for Jeets.
Is this Salimus, the cleric you were sent to
Who in
find?
Kyber are you?
So, like normal, this is just plain tutorial. After you make one character, you can skip all this, so it should be less of an issue. Later on, you just skip it, you get the rewards.
First, I shall surround us with a protection spell.
Her spell temporarily prevents you from dying, though you can still
Just because I
suffer
can, I'll
injuries.
buff, I don't need to sneak.
This effect will wear off when you
And I'm
leave
paladin,
these
I'm gonna have
caves.
heavier
Now,
armor,
let's be about it.
so I don't really need something like that. I don't need to worry about
There must be a way
too
to
much
open it.
stealth.
Try up that ladder. I'll remain here and bash any Sawagan trying to sneak out.
A little bit laggy. I'm doing this on a server I'm usually not typically on, so I don't know
You hear
how
the shuffling and
different
wheezing
the
of some
lag's gonna
creature
be.
coming from the corridor ahead.
But the way this game works, if you can see this,
The corroded lever
it actually
at the rear
rolls
of this
everything based on
corridor
a
most
d20,
likely
much like
controls the gate
the
where
tabletop
the
version of
cleric,
this game does.
Salimus, is waiting.
You roll your d20, you add your modifiers, and you go from there. Now, this can be a success, a failure, critical
Good job.
success, critical
No time
failure.
to dawdle.
So, anything that's a critical failure is a nat 1. So you roll
Salimus
1
isn't
on
too
your
hard,
die,
eh? Thanks for putting in
and
the good
you
work.
immediately miss no matter what your
Don't you worry,
modifier
Salimus.
is.
I'm here to watch your behind.
Evil
A
aura.
normal failure would just be you roll a d20 and your modifiers don't stack up
Where's
to
the bloody
the
Sawagan?
difficulty level or
Look,
armor
the
class
door
of
closed
whatever
behind
you're
us.
going
It
towards.
would be logical to assume.
So say something is a 15, you roll a 10 plus 4, you fail. However, on the opposite spectrum of that, if an armor class, say for these, are
There are more of them
a
out there.
15.
Stay alert.
you would roll a d20, add your modifier, and say you rolled a 11 plus 4. So 11 plus 4, 15, then you would succeed. However, if you got a nat 20, which is the highest spectrum of that die you can get, that is called a critical success.
Sawagan wretches, are you scared of
So
me? Come
that's
down
things that
and
you can
fight.
get for critical attacks, or if looking on this,
For the
is
flame.
a critical roll. So getting a critical roll, much like I just got right here, you actually do twice as much damage die. So if you roll a d6 for damage, you roll 2d6 plus your modifiers. So this can help out, just boost up your damage, boost up your success rate, your survivability.
Good work. I see a key
You
down
grab
there.
the silver
Who's up for a
key.
swim?
So
Time to
you want to
swim
try
for
and
the surface.
capitalize on that. Now, certain weapons in 3.5 or Pathfinder, if you're used to
Let's
that,
take a moment to rest.
they have a range rather than just a 20. Some things can crit
Why don't you
on
start
a
ahead, then? Just don't get yourself in
18 usually,
Talking.
or if you
trouble.
get
Scout ahead with
bonuses on the top of your things, you can actually get all the way up to, I believe it's 15? Yeah, I believe 15 is your lowest. But doing that is much, much easier than just
It was no match for yours, truly.
buying items,
You two have
getting that. Sometimes you can enchant things, but
the High Priestess should
without
be
the
up
whole
ahead.
trivial
Honest,
things
much
that you
suffering
can do.
rests squarely upon her
There are
slimy,
items that you can
webbed
get, that you can
hands.
pick up as quest rewards, anything like that,
There
they
she
work out
is,
perfectly.
performing some kind of profane blood magic.
We're
I will
getting to
open the
the
door.
end of this.
Prepare
I believe this
yourself.
is the end.
Ready? Go.
Okay, so this hint that's popping up, it's telling me that something in my inventory is damaged. Now, this comes on a lot where you have certain hardness. Things can break, but they can also be fixed. They can be repaired.
The treasure.
So it's not something that you have to worry too much about, but there are things in the game that monopolize on this to destroy your items.
There's something fishy in
You
this room.
feel a stiff
Try
draft
searching
from
around.
somewhere in this room. Perhaps the hidden
see.
passage to the village is
Forgot
in
to put this
here.
on my thing. Either that or I removed it. That's not bad. But you do have to search for things
Found the
from time to
secret
time.
passage?
So
Go on. Brilliant.
I used my
Tidy
search
lasses
skill,
and pints up the wazoo.
and based on
Here I
the
come.
ranks that I had in that,
We're almost
and
done.
the total
The way
skill
out
that
is
I
up
had,
ahead. But first,
I was
want
able to
reward you for
find
your
the
assistance. Please
door.
come speak with me.
And this is something what you're gonna see a lot. You're gonna see every time you finish a quest. You always get quest rewards. It's not gonna be as many items as this, but this is your tutorial. So running through this, I will actually show you, such as the longsword right here. Much like I was saying about the critical roll, it has a 19 to 20. If you crit on a 19 or 20, it does 2 times the weapon die. Thing is about the rapier though, it's an 18 to 20 with a +2 or a ×2. So you just kind of gotta gauge on that, and much like this one, you only get a crit on a 20, but it does triple damage. So this is another thing you might want to take into consideration. I know I'm probably speaking gibberish and not making sense, but I'm doing my best, damn it. I'm doing it.
Stepping out of the grotto, you find yourself in Korthos village. The Sahuagin have threatened this place for generations. Judging from how it looks now, the Sahuagin are winning. However, some hopeful souls still hold out for
Now,
help to arrive.
I've played this game for quite a while. There are quests all through this area. If you just want to level, you don't want to go through all the storyline, you don't want to do this or that. It's not something that you really have to worry about in this game too much. It's nice to, but if you just want to level, there's a lot of things. Like talking to this person right here. Will take you to a completely different area. You can go there, you can level, you go up, do whatever you want. But for now, I'm just going to do the basic quests.
From deep in the crypt,
I don't think I'm going to go too much further than the
sarcophagi line the
base
wall.
quests.
You notice something strange about the wall to the west. You
But
found some kind of
we'll go.
secret
We'll
door
try and
in
see
the wall.
what I
This
can
is a
finish
dark
tonight.
and dusty passage. It doesn't look like anyone's come through here in decades.
So going through this, a lot of games you can find chests, you can find items, you can do so many different things and find so many different things that
A chest.
there's stuff that you
It's
don't
out in the open
think
and
about.
unprotected.
Now,
And that's probably what the dead cultist
this
by the
area
chest
B
thought.
is here for the simple fact that it's going to teach you about traps. Now, if I were to walk forward, I'm going to be sprayed with an acid splash. Now, I can search,
You found the triggering mechanism
and I can
for
find a
some
triggering
sort of trap
mechanism
in
right
this
here.
room. It
However,
would take
I'm
someone
not a rogue or
trained
an
as
artificer.
rogue or
So
artificer to
this
disarm it.
skull-looking
Acid
thing right
sprays out of
here
the wall as
is
the
gonna
gate
spray acid.
slams shut.
You can avoid it a little bit. Kind of get to the edge here, loot your chest, get some nice items, get some gold, back up, and you have to open these doors back up. And sadly, I wasn't able to miss it, but only taking 1 damage. It's not too
A
bad.
treasure chest glimmers in this passage. There may be something of use inside.
Kill these guys right here.
What were those cultists?
Another good
up
thing
to?
about this game is that
This
you
heavy
have
mace
options.
is a bludgeoning
things.
weapon.
So
Ideal
things
for
that you
smashing apart
don't have to
skeletons.
finish,
Their bones are resist in the middle
like
of
this
chamber
area right up
is
here.
an
It's not
evil
going to tell you
devourer
anything.
altar. By
It just says
a
to
Sahuagin
destroy the
will
Devourer altar.
For generations.
But when you kill that,
Sahuagin's plan
before
was
it
to
raises
use
the
these
skeleton,
devourer altars to animate
it lets me
every
know that I
magical
finished an
crest
option.
appears from the destroyed altar. If you take it with you,
So
it may be
it gave me an
useful
extra
later.
bonus based on what
You
I did.
continue to hear cultists about their evil work from further inside the crypt.
So in this mission, I believe you have 4 optional quests, or optional targets, or missions, whatever you want to call them. So you can easily boost up your experience just by finishing these. So they're not hard, but some characters just can't do it quick. They can do it sufficiently, easily enough, but
There's
some
another
can't do it
Sahuagin.
fast enough, which
Croaks.
it happens.
Crag Wolf Hayton, in life you
So
serve
right here, I
right,
may not be able to do it.
but in death
Nope.
you shall serve the devourer.
So you can see it's fast enough for that. So right there, I lost the experience I would have got
Will create a
for
blight of
stopping
undead
that
upon Corvus.
Sahuagin
Another crest
from
drops
bringing
out
that
as you smash
skeleton
the
back.
altar. There might still be other altars elsewhere in this crypt.
So it's simple to miss these optional things, but it's not something that you want to stress out over. It's just something that's gonna happen. You gotta get used to that already.
As you slay these foul cultists, a treasure chest
Now these
glimmers
chests
the
in
dark
here, they're not
passage.
gonna
Though rusty,
give you too
this
many
longsword is still sharp.
interesting
It's a
things.
slashing weapon.
It's mostly
Perfect
just
for slicing
teaching
through
you
putrid
about
zombie
the
flesh that would there's a Sahuagin in here performing
stressful
some
things that you're gonna have with damage,
Undead
immunities,
Sahuagins,
resistances.
Rise and do my
I mean, I shouldn't say
blows with dark power.
stressful,
And the Sahuagin continues.
but
The
more
Sahuagin
annoying than
rains in its
anything.
wild when the altar collapses, a third
So,
crest appears.
Things like skeletons, they're
glows
going to be
with
resistant
cold
and piercing and
magic.
slashing, so you want to do bludgeoning damage. So it's just simple things like that you just gotta think about. but it doesn't make too much of a difference if, at least at the lower levels. Higher levels, yes, it will. It's definitely going to make a difference. Maybe not too much, but enough to where you're going to find a noticeable problem. Sorry about the weird screech. I know that was probably pretty loud. If you can see those red lines that appeared, or the yellow or the white one, that was actually a marker to tell me about the trap further out. This game's pretty good about reminding you that there is a trap. Please do not get hit by it. So it's just going over and over and over, trying to remind you of things and teach you things that a lot of games just don't have nowadays. Did I not?
This barrier appears linked to 3 sockets in the wall. If you find the crests to those sockets,
I must have not been paying attention. That's embarrassing. So run over and grab this real fast. I believe the octopus is right here. Nope. Sorry for yawning. I've been awake far too long already. Huh. Did it glitch? Never had it happen. Huh. I have to go through this trap again. It hit me for 3 damage that time. Yeah, I must have forgot to pick this up. Oh well. That's my bad. Things happen.
You fit the last crest in place.
Alright, right here.
And the magic shield
You want to kill this Sahuagin before it brings the zombie up. Yeah, I was able to, so that's good. Now, to get the most experience out of things, you want to destroy every breakable item you see, as long as finishing all your optional quests and things like that. So what I usually do is go through this, just break it all before I finally break this.
Your bold actions saved Korthos and brought the Sahuagin's fell scheme to naught. The treasure chest in the antechamber is now yours.
No. Post out of this. I believe I can do a little bit more before I get off of here, but this will at least be a decent intro to my horrible playstyle, my horrible speaking words, things, what I can do with my mouth, apparently.
Ahead is the cellar where the Caneth crystal is hidden. You can feel the life-saving heat emanating from the magic crystal
This
Bodar
quest,
spoke of.
you can't see the
But
HP of
from
this
the
thing, which I
shadows approach
find
those
very
who would
annoying.
doom Korthos
All you have to do
by
is just protect it.
storm.
Things come in, kill, rinse and repeat. But it's honestly, it's not too hard. Pretty much everything runs to it, so you can just stand here. Gets a little boring, especially if you have casters that don't come up to you like this. But it's not hard. This game by any means is not hard. If you like platformers, it has platforming aspects. It has normal gameplay that you can get out of any role-playing game. It has multiple things that you wouldn't find common in a lot of games without it being AAA or anything along the lines of that. It's just simple. You can choose to have it harder. Every mission has a difficulty level. If you want to play things over and over and over again, like this, you can easily do it. You can repeat quests. It's not the end of the world to be able to tell yourself that, hey, I just want to run this quest a few times and see what I can do. I want to run this quest and see how much damage my weapons do. See what my items can do, how much armor, or how much that one boost to my armor class does. Just simple things. But if you want to go deep dive into this game, absolutely can. There is nothing stopping you. I just like to play. That's all I want to do. I want to relax. I want to play some games. And I just want to go. So, right now, the server that I'm on has a little bit of a experience buff. There was a little bit of server errors that it was having. They got it fixed from what I can tell for most part. There's still a little lag here and there, which still is not bad. A little lag is not going to kill you. Yes, it's annoying, but it's not going to kill you. Alright, so going through, which, like I said, this area, or this server, should I say, has a experience buff right now, which I believe is 2 times or 200%, whatever you want to call it. So you're going to level a little bit faster. By now, in another server, you would not have leveled up. You just got to understand that. Leveling is going to get slower as well. So it's just, you gotta play, you gotta sit, relax, take your time. Don't kill yourself. Don't stress over small things. Now, this whole enhancement tree right here, it looks a little bit more annoying than what it is. There are things in here that you'll probably never use. Harper Agent, Vistani Knife Fighter, Falconry, Acquisitive. You don't have to have them. Will they help? Will they let you play a certain way, different than what you do? Absolutely. You don't need them. You absolutely do not need it. It helps. It improves your gameplay. And it's nice. Now, there are a few skill trees I can go to. You have your race skill tree, which you always have to unlock the first one, add extra points. Anyone that plays games like even Path of Exiles, you have your enhancement trees, you have that big circle that Path of Exile has. The more points you add to it, the more things you can do. And it just comes out more and more to where it gives your character buffs that you may not even notice. Overall, you may not notice. There are quite a few abilities that are active. Like, say, for example, this Shield Smash. So it's an extra attack with your shield that does an extra weapon die. That's nice. But if it were, say, a Fortitude saving throw, which is what happens if you are suffering from, say, like poison, you may not notice it. So for this character, being solo, I believe what I will do I'll go Vanguard. It gives me a little bit more attack, gives me a extra to hit, so it should help out overall. And you always have to remember to add your skills to the tree, or not the tree, but the quick bar. There, when I first played this game, I completely forgot. I absolutely forgot. He is in the ground. And for now, I'll go without that. This quest right here is a whole lot different than a lot of things I've seen in games. This is one of the main reasons why I kept coming back, because there are ways that this game challenges you and doesn't make it just mindless grinding. There are things that you do have to think about. There are things that you have to wander around and find. If you don't know what it is and you don't want to go online and search for an answer, you can just try your best to actually think about a solution, which I think is great. So once I get through here, I will show you and see what you will think about that.
This appears. A large silver key falls out of the crate. A Sarhagan emerges from a hidden passage, demanding the key. You mustn't let the scrolls fall into Devourer hands.
What you may have seen right there was a red name monster. So anything with a red name, usually it's going to be basically a boss of the area, which I took care of fairly easily. I've only lost 1 health throughout this whole thing. Like I said, lower levels, you're not going to have to worry too much. More than likely, they're going to miss you, and you're not going to have an issue. Last time I played a paladin, there's a skill that you can literally stand there, and enemies hitting you will cause damage to them. So you could literally put your character in the middle of an area,
The door
have
swings open
someone
here,
heal you,
but the floor in this
and you
room
don't even
is
have to attack.
rotated.
An enemy can kill themselves by attacking you. Which I honestly just think is great. So once I get done with these crates and barrels, I will show you this. Alright. This is something that I've always loved. You actually have puzzles. You don't have like, oh, go this thing, kill this many monsters. You actually have something that you have to think about. So you have to actually sit here, turn your tiles, think about how your thing needs to be moved, activate everything you can. Turn that too many times.
The protective spell dissipates.
And there you
All
go.
that remains now is to take and deliver the scroll.
So there's going to be a lot more different puzzles in this game. A lot more that you may not be able to understand. That's fine. Ask somebody. No one's gonna give you any trouble.
Hero.
And if they do,
It is on the people's lips
Move on.
as you walk by. Cautious
not
looks
someone
have
that you
become
need to
friendly
talk to.
nods. Then word comes that your presence is requested in the tavern.
so I think for now that will end my first stream on this account, or first stream in general. I've toyed with it before, but I've never talked to people, so that was different. Maybe in the future, if I get more people joining, I can talk to more of my viewers and we can talk about this game, maybe even party up. Maybe jump in on different games. It's absolutely fine. I will gladly play with people, I will talk. All I ask is don't argue. We go through too many things in this life to argue with people anymore. That's not something that we ever need to do. If you're fighting for your rights, if you're fighting for things that you care for, absolutely. But if it's something that could hurt someone that you care about, talk with them. Don't argue. Explain things. And don't forget to love each other.